Johnny was walking down the street on a Thursday in New York City in June. He looked at his watch and saw that it was 12:57, almost time for lunch. As Johnny turned the corner onto Union Avenue, he wiped the sweat from his brow. He was on his way to the park for no particular reason. Johnny was just like anyone else you'd see walking down the street. One of thousands he and everyone else would pass by today without a second glance and never see again. Johnny crossed the street and made his way into the park, passing by the water fountain, where he took a quick drink. He knew people said the fountains were filthy, but it was water, so he figured, what the hell. Standing and turning to continue his walk, a large man with dreads and a big, smelly coat bumped into him hard. The man turned to Johnny, who stood looking back at the strange figure before him, who Johnny knew would surely attempt to intimidate him, for no particular reason.
Hey, boy, better watch where you're going,
the man hissed, his teeth yellow and his eyes full of some strange hobo madness. Johnny stood there, looking at him, silent, and crossed his arms. When the smelly assailant saw that Johnny wouldn't budge, he spit at Johnny's feet. Johnny did the very same. The man laughed a hearty laugh and then dug into his coat, fishing out what looked like one of those plastic faux rubies you'd see for $15 at Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, boy, take this. Methinks you could use some luck, he said, cackling.
Johnny shrugged, uncrossed his arms, and held out his hand, ready for the man to try and grab him. The man dropped the faux gem into Johnny's hand, winked, and walked off. Johnny looked at the gem. Weird, he thought to himself, noticing that it looked a little less fake up close. He put it in his own pocket. Johnny would figure out if it was real and started searching for a jeweler shop. Johnny got out his phone and looked up the nearest jeweler. West 47th, between 5th and 6th Avenues, Diamond District, the AI assistant on his phone chimed. Thanks, Johnny replied, and began heading in that direction, deciding to go through Times Square to get there. A few blocks up 14th Street, he heard a whisper.
Johnny.
Johnny felt his skin crawl and looked around, noticing nobody was looking at him or nearby.
In your pocket, Johnny,
the voice said again. Johnny's face took on a look of complete exasperation. He took a deep, slow breath and rubbed his eyes with his fingers for a moment, taking the stone out of his pocket. Oh, fuck, he whispered under his breath. Holding it in his palm, Johnny looked at the gem. He saw that in the center, it looked like a thin, swirling mist.
Go into the alley, Johnny.
Johnny turned to his right and saw an alley, entering. About 30 yards in from the sidewalk, he stopped and looked again at the gem.
Set me down, Johnny.
Johnny rolled his eyes and did what the voice asked. As soon as the gem had touched the concrete, it cracked, and red smoke began pouring out of it. Soon, a cloud the size of a man had emerged and solidified into the form of one. Well, almost. It was nude, but sexless. Its skin was wrinkly and purple, and it had strange tentacles emerging from the back of its head. The thing's eyes glowed yellow, and it hissed, scrunching its face to show its fangs to Johnny.
Johnny, you have freed me from my prison. So long I was trapped, but no more.
The disgusting thing sneered and held out its hand to Johnny's head. Immediately, Johnny's brain was filled with visions of ancient Sumerian temples, monsters roaming about the land, people being flayed and mutilated by abominations. Last of all, he saw a group of priests sacrifice their lives to create this gem as a prison to contain this djinn. Johnny snapped out of it, shaking his head. The djinn snickered, widening its eyes and licking its lips, which grossed Johnny out and made him shiver.
Yet I cannot dominate this world before you make.
The djinn held up its fist and extended 3 fingers.
3 wishes.
Do it, Johnny said. The djinn was confused and wiggled its head in bewilderment.
What?
It asked. Johnny replied without hesitation. My first wish is that you do whatever all that was. Just get it over with. The djinn paused for a second and narrowed its eyes before resuming its annoying laughter.
I see. You want to play a game. Well, how?
Johnny interrupted the djinn with a louder tone. My second wish is that you shut the fuck up and do it. The djinn backed away slightly.
But you don't.
It tried to give a nasty grimace before continuing.
Don't you want money, power, women?
It licked its lips on the last words. Johnny sighed hard and put his fingers up to rub his eyes again. Okay, one last time. Third wish. Unleash all your weirdo demons and in this whole fucked up world, or get back in your fucking crystal! It's been a really hard day! I don't care what happens! Do it! Pussy! Do it! Johnny was yelling, manic. The djinn backed away, confused.
Wait, I wanted.
Johnny cut off the djinn one last time, holding up his hand, and spoke in an ancient tongue. Basuva ashila mabashalowira rimlek hashim moshmesh farash kaliasa ayahi.
No!
The djinn screamed as it began dissolving into smoke, being sucked back into the gem. Johnny picked up the gem, walked over to the nearest sewer grate, and dropped the gem down it. He wiped his hands, spit, and began walking back to the park for no particular reason.